Hello everyone, welcome to another Narc Survivor live video. In this one I'm going to be talking about how the narcissist is terrified that this will happen after they discard you. There's something they're really terrified about, and potentially it kind of leads on to what they were terrified about while they were with you, while they were around you. Because while they were with you, it was all about validation, control, superiority. That's all that they wanted you for. That's why they kept you around as a source of supply. And when they fear that they're losing you, let me just put my earphones in, all of the horns and sirens are very distracting. I'm rejecting the noise. The sound is still okay for you. But yeah, they fear that this is going to happen after they discard you. They're terrified of this. Because think about all of the work that they put in. Everything they did to try and keep you down, to keep you stuck, to keep you under their control, to keep you as their subordinate, as subservient to them. Even though in actuality you were above them. And that's why they targeted you for, because they saw a lot of value in you. They saw it as though you could serve them. But they were very greedy. They wanted more out of you than you were willing to give or than you were able to give, without neglecting yourself, without abandoning yourself. So then they devalued you, they put you down, they kept you stuck to where you were thinking that there's something wrong with you and you have to keep doing more and more for them. And that's why they run you through the devaluation phase, so that you will keep giving and doing more for them. You will keep giving them supply. You will keep making them feel like they're in control and giving them a sense of superiority over you, which validates the false self. So that's really what they wanted you for. And as crazy and as audacious as this sounds, when they leave you behind, when they discard you, they want to keep you as a source of supply even when they've moved on to someone else. They want to keep you there. They want to keep you watching them and staying subservient to them. They want to keep you under their control. They want you to keep validating them and believing in the illusion. They want you to remain in the fog, in a state of fear, obligation, and guilt, to where you're doubting yourself and you're thinking that something is wrong with you, as though you're not good enough, even though you did and gave so much more for them than anyone else in their entire lives, so much more than they could ever do or give for themselves. And yet they want you thinking that you're not good enough for them. They want you thinking that you're not good enough for anything or anyone. And they just want to keep you stuck in that pit of misery that they leave you in, where they discard you. They just want to leave you there. And they just want to remain like that. They don't ever want you to get back up and to fight for yourself and for your life. They don't ever want you to redevelop your independence and autonomy. They want you to remain stuck under their control because you are their grade A source of supply. You make them feel so good inside when you just stay down, when you stay submissive to them. Because the reality is that you're actually so much greater than them. And they know it, and that's why they keep you under their control. That's why they want to keep you subservient to them. Because otherwise, if they were secure in themselves, they would be fine treating you as an equal. They don't treat you as an equal because they're insecure, because they feel less than you, they feel inferior. And that's why they can't treat you equally. That's why they can't give you an equal amount of love and respect as you're giving to them. Because they feel inferior to you, and that's why they're also so very jealous, possessive, and controlling. Because deep down they know that they don't deserve you. They know that they're not good enough for you. That's why they manipulate you. That's why they give it a false character. That's why when you began to wake up, when you began to realize your worth, when you began to realize that actually you deserve so much more than them, what did they do? They then began devaluing you. They then began putting you down. Why would they do that? Because they're insecure. Because they don't feel good enough for you. Because they know that you deserve so much more than that. And that's why they treat you that way. That's why they leave you doubting yourself. Because otherwise, think about it. What is the need for the devaluation phase? What is the need for all of the lies and future faking? What is the need for the gaslighting? If they're really as good as how they think they are, if they're really that great and you're really not that good for them, if that's really the reality of the situation, then why wouldn't they want you with a clear mind, grounded in yourself, without any manipulation, without any devaluation, without any gaslighting, so that you could see clearly what you're dealing with and appreciate it, the value of it, of how great, how wonderful they are. And that, so that you could see yourself and realize that, yes, okay, this person is so great, they're so much better than you, they're superior to you. So what is the need? What is the purpose for the manipulation, the gaslighting? What is the purpose for all of this? If the truth, if the reality is that they are greater than you, it just doesn't make any sense. Because the truth is, the fact is that the reason why they have to spin your head around in circles, the reason why they have to cause so much confusion is because they already know. And they know that you know deep down as well, when you're in a clear mind, that you deserve so much better than them. And they don't deserve anything of even a fraction of what you are. They don't deserve anyone as wonderful as you, and they know that. And that's why they run you for the manipulation, the love bombing, the devaluation, the gaslighting, the triangulation, the lying, the cheating, the betrayal, stealing from you. This is why they copy you, they mimic you. And this is why they become very, very jealous, possessive, and controlling, because they know you deserve so much better than them. So they've got to orchestrate everything. They've got to keep you under their complete control. They've got to micromanage everything because they don't want you to figure this out. They don't want you to realize the truth of the situation, that you do in fact deserve so much better than that. They don't want you to realize it. And that's why they treat you this way. That's why they use so many manipulative tactics. That's why they operate with a false self. That's why there's all of these strategies and illusions, and they can't just be normal. They can't even have a normal conversation with you. They can't do any of it. This is why they have to behave that way. Because otherwise, if it was just a level playing field, if everything was fair, normal, and equal, and there was no confusion, everyone understood the rules of the game, although I don't like to call it a game, but let's just say there's certain rules that you follow, that you abide by, certain standards, and there's an agreement, there's a contract, you do this and they do that. If everything played out in that way, you would just instantly realize, hold on, this is not a fair deal for me. I deserve so much better than that. For the person that I am, for what was done to make me, for the work that I put in to become the person that I am today, the person that I know that I am. And not only that, but the person that I could be in the future as well. And this is what I get, this is what I deserve. Someone who can't even give a fraction of what I'm giving out. You would instantly realize that. And that's what they don't want you to figure out. This is why they want to leave you thinking that something is wrong with you. They have to devalue you, gaslight you. And let me tell you, that doesn't make any sense. Because if you really believe that someone isn't that great, or that something is wrong with them, what do? Just think about how you were treated a narcissist. And you knew there's clearly a lot of things not right with them. You felt like they're not good enough, and you just held on to the lies of future faking. You remained positive. You remained optimistic. You were walking on eggshells around all of their issues, trying not to provoke shame in them. Because that's how a normal, healthy, functional person responds. They're more optimistic about the situation. They're trying to build the other person up. They want them to be better. And that's what made you such a good source of supply for them. But they're not that way with you. It's not like, oh, someone's down, someone's stuck. Let's help them up. Let's help them to be better. With you, no, it's you're already too good. You're already far greater than them, and they don't want you to know that. Because they know that once you know your worth, once you know how much greater you are than them, you're not going to want anything to do with them. You just wouldn't entertain that situation. If you have self-love, if you have self-esteem, and this is why they devalue you again as well. Because when you have self-love and you have self-esteem, you're not going to want to sacrifice yourself, abandon yourself. You're not going to want to be around someone who is actively harming you, who's putting you at a disadvantage, who's making you worse, not better, or not even allowing you to stay the same. You're not going to put yourself in that type of situation. So that's why they have to put you down here and themselves up there, as though they're above you. And what do? They devalue you, making you think that you're just not good enough for them, or you have to do more to be better. And some situations are so crazy, the amount that people do, the amount that people put in, compared to what they're getting back. It's ridiculous. And not only that, but then even when you're really on them and you start to figure them out, then they just take the mask off. They let the mask flip and they show you. They just tell you, you deserve it. You deserve to be treated this way. They just tell you you're a horrible person. You don't deserve anything better. That's always their go-to phrases when you're really onto them and you're confronting them, and you just realise that they're absolute garbage. When you realise that, then they just start pointing the finger at you. They just start telling you that you're no good. You're a horrible person. Because deep down they know that it's them. It's narcissistic projection. They put it onto you because they can't accept it about themselves. And that's why they've got to beat you to the punch. They've got to get you before you get them. They've got to make you feel so small. They've got to make you feel like there's something wrong with you, because deep down they know that there's something wrong with them. They know that. And that's why they're so quick to judge and criticize you, rather than to hold on to you and be optimistic about it, or to even acknowledge anything positive about you. When was the last time they actually complimented anything about you? Anything that you're actually doing for them? They won't. Because they don't want you to be confident. They don't want you to feel secure about yourself. They don't want you to have good mental health. They want to leave you confused, perplexed, not knowing who you are, not thinking that you're good enough, because that's the only way that they can keep you stuck around them. If you truly knew your worth, and if you truly knew their worth, or their lack of worth, you would realize that their presence, just you being around them, is harming you. It's not even keeping you at the same level. It's gradually destroying you. It's depleting you of your energy, your health, your resources. It's destroying everything about you, because they're leeching off you. They're not providing, they're not giving anything to you. All they're doing is taking, and all you're doing is giving, but getting nothing back in return. And they really envy you. That's why they targeted you, is because they envy you. They want to be you. They want to have the things that you have. They don't want the things that you have to belong to you. They want it all to be a part of them. And they get around you and they want to take all of that from you. They want to take that confidence, that belief in yourself, of you recognizing, realizing that you're such a wonderful person who is loved and respected by so many people, admired, because they want that. They want to have that image. They want to have that reputation. They want to feel good about themselves. They want to feel loved and admired. So they want to take all of that from you. They don't want you to have it. If you find this video helpful so far, give it a thumbs up. Let's get this message out there. I'm really going hard on this one today. But again, they don't want you to know any of that. Any good things about yourself. Because they already know that they don't even deserve to be around you. They know they're not good enough for you. So they have to play your worth down. They have to make you feel like you're not good enough for them. Meanwhile, you're doing everything for them and they're doing nothing for you. Just look at what you're giving out and what you're getting back. It's not a fair exchange. And they're so jealous, so envious. The last thing they want to see after they discard you is you going off. And it's absolutely sick that people think this way. It really is. And I've talked about this before in so many of my live videos. How I just can't understand it. I can't understand this mindset. The way that it's like they could have mistreated you for all of that time. They could have abused you for years, decades. Gaslighted your mind into oblivion. You don't even know what way is up or down, or you don't know what's black, what's white. They've just completely screwed with your mind, ruined your life, ruined your health, your finances. And it's like you just see a crack, a light through an open door, a light at the end of the tunnel, and you're heading in that direction. And it's like finally you're leaving this monster, this predator behind, and then you go in that way. You've got a spark of hope, optimism inside of you, and you feel like finally, okay, things can be different, things can get better. Now that you haven't got that huge weight on your shoulders, that weight around your ankle, that's weighing you down, holding you back. If you feel like finally there's a spark of hope, you can make things better now. You can have your happiness, your freedom. And it's like, just as you're about to spread your wings and you're finally beginning to fly, you're finally transforming. They don't want to see you recognizing your qualities, your abilities, realizing how great you can be for yourself and for someone else. They want to keep you stuck. They want to leave you thinking that you're no good, that something is wrong with you. They want to leave you stuck, gaslighted. They don't ever want you to move on. They don't ever want you to have that sense of hope, optimism, freedom. Because that's how it is for them. They gave up on themselves a long time ago. They know that things are never going to be better for them. And that's why they're so fake. That's why many of them hide, they're covert. They do a lot of these things behind the scenes because they know that they're no good. They know that they don't deserve anything in life. And that's why they wear a mask. That's why they use a false self. Because they know they don't deserve anything. They know that they're no good. But they know that for you, as a chosen one, an empath, they know you've got so much light, so much positivity, so much energy, optimism, enthusiasm. Of course they know that. They were taking that from you the entire time. That's what made you a good source of supply. It's that you had that constant hope, optimism, believing that they could change, believing that they could be better, believing that you could fix them, believing that you could have a connection, love together. That was a big part of their supply. It made them feel validated, superior, in control, powerful, wanted, admired, important, desirable, omnipotent. It made them feel all of those things. Because they envied all of that about you. They envied those qualities. They don't have that same energy, that same charge, that same drive. They haven't got that. They're hopeless. They're depressed. Many narcissists are suffering from depression. And this is why they use a false self to garner validation so that it uplifts, it elevates them. So they envied all of the positive, bright qualities about you. And they wanted to take that from you. They wanted you to keep giving that to them, keep believing in them, keep believing that they could change, keep believing that they could be better. But then sometimes they want to just keep you down. They want to keep you thinking that you're just not good enough and that you have to be better, or just making you feel small. They switch back and forth sometimes, because sometimes it gets old and they want to have it constantly feeling new. But this is what they like to do. And so, of course, once they've taken all of this from you, they made you think that the only hope that you have in your life is if you can just do more and more for them, and just want, desire, crave, long and yearn for them, hoping that one day you'll finally be worthy of their love, of their attention, because while they may have a soft spot for you, they may somewhat have you in their good graces. Everyone else, no, you're not good enough for them. They're just giving you a chance, but you're not really that good anyway. They're kind of just doing you a favour. They're kind of just keeping you there. They're just helping you out. That's how they want you to think. But you're not really doing anything with them. You're just a problem for them. To just crush your self-esteem and to make you think that this is the only hope, the only option that you have in your life. As though there is nowhere else for you to go. So that you're going to stay stuck and just keep giving them supply. And then, of course, what happens if you do have self-belief, you do believe that there are good people out there, that there are other opportunities for you, that you can move on, you can develop a new social circle, new friends, a new relationship, new hobbies and interests, a new job, a new career, then they will discredit you. They'll run a smear campaign against you. They'll make everyone think that you are crazy. They'll make everyone think that there is something wrong with you. Because again, they're jealous. They're so jealous of you. They're jealous of your bright, shining light. They're jealous of all the qualities that you have. They're jealous that you could have something that they will never have. And what is that? A genuine, authentic connection. Where you can be vulnerable, you could be yourself, you could be real. You could just not have to pretend, you could not have to be anyone or anything other than yourself. And what do people do? What do people do when you're not wearing a mask? When you're not trying to be something else, when you're just being you, when you're just flowing naturally, authentically? How do people respond to that? They like it, they love you, they support you, they admire you, they can't get enough of you. They think you're wonderful, incredible. They do. But many of you, sometimes you can't even see it. You can't even see how many people actually love and support you. Because the narcissist is constantly running their game and getting you to doubt yourself, getting you to perceive other people and their responses to you differently. So that you think that no one's got you, that no one supports you, that no one cares about you. That's what they want you to think. And they try and turn you into something that you're not, because they don't want people to like you. They want people to think that you're something else. They want to turn you into something else. They want to destabilize you, because that's the one thing you thought that they will never have. They'll never have that. What they will never have is anyone just liking, living the real, authentic person that they are. It's never going to happen. No one's ever going to love them. No one's ever going to feel proud of them. No one's ever going to have a genuine connection with them. And they know that. This is why they wear a mask. This is why they hide. This is why they operate with a false self, because they already know that no one is ever going to like or want the real them. No one is ever going to approve of them. No one is ever going to be proud of them. And of course they're not. How could anyone like or be proud of the things that they have done? How could anyone think that that is acceptable? And this is why they play the games that they do with you. This is why they run you on a hamster wheel. They manipulate you. They lie to you, future fake. They dangle the carrot on a string. They make you believe that there's something for you in the future. Something that they're promising for you if you just keep giving to them. This is why they do all of these things. Because they know that the real person that they are, what you're seeing right now, without the manipulation, the love bombing, the lies, the future faking, they know that isn't good for anyone. They know that's not something that anyone would ever like. This is why they have to gaslight you. This is why they have to just mess up your mind, so that you don't see what you're actually dealing with. This is why. This is why they're fake. This is why they're manipulative. This is why they're deceptive. Because they don't want you to realize what garbage they actually are. They don't want you to realize that they're actually no good. And this is why they're so heavily focused on making everyone think that there's something wrong with you. Sometimes from the very beginning of the relationship. They're already working on people, working on their perceptions of you, getting them to see you in a certain way, smearing your name from the very beginning, making you out to look crazy or as though something is wrong with you. Now, why do they do that? It's because deep down they don't like themselves. It's because they know that they're no good, and it's because they know with your qualities you're going to reveal a lot about them. You're going to expose them, the real them. And they want to keep getting supply. They want to feel admired. They want to feel wanted by people. Of course, they know no one's going to like or want the real them, but they wear a mask. They manipulate people. So essentially, they see you as a threat to their manipulation, to the game that they're running on so many people. And that's where they want to keep you down. That's why they've got to gaslight you. That's why they've got to devalue you, run smear campaigns on you. That's why they've got to do all of that. And this is why they are really terrified when they discard you, because they're afraid that you're going to come back to yourself. You're going to leave their narcissistic, make-believe fantasy world with all of their alternate interpretations of you, of themselves, and of everyone else. They're afraid that you're going to leave that behind and you're going to go back to what you were doing before. You're going to go back to having genuine connections with people, authentic connections, being vulnerable, expressing yourself emotionally, revealing your faults, your flaws, and things you've gone through, and also your dreams, goals, and ambitions for the future. All of these things that they cannot do, that they cannot have with anyone. They fear that you're going to have that. They fear that you're going to have a genuine, authentic connection with this world. And these are all things that they're never going to have. It's never going to be like that for them. I know it may seem that way. If they discarded you, you look in their social media, or if you're still with them, maybe they just leave you at home and they go out to the bar with their mates. Looks like they're having such a great time without you. Looks like they've got so many friends. But actually, no, they keep all of those people at arm's length. They keep them at a distance. Or if they don't, if they do let those people close, if those people know that they're actually horrible people and they're doing horrible things to you, they're not anyone to be proud of, then the narcissist isn't really getting any supply from those people. They're not really getting any validation. If they are, it's kind of maybe a sense of power, but then they're really just validating the power that they have over you. So it's still just really coming from you. They only really get supply from you. That validation, they don't get that from anyone else. All of that's just, it's all just a facade. It's a distraction. That real supply they get from you. And that's why they want to keep you trapped. They want to keep you stuck. They don't want you to move on. This is why it's so important to them. This is why they're so terrified of you regaining control of yourself. Because from the very beginning, they envied your qualities. They wanted to be you. They wanted to have what you have. You became their reference point, their measuring stick. You set the bar. And you remain as that reference point in their minds. Even after they discard you, they're still comparing themselves to you. Many of them, they will stalk you for years. Because they're still comparing themselves to you. And they want to ensure that you're never happy and things never get better for you. And if they do, they'll come back and sabotage you because you're still a reference point. From that moment when they envied you, they wanted to be you, they wanted to your qualities, your characteristics, from that very moment, they're still comparing themselves to you. And it's eating them up inside. It's aggravating them. They can't stand it when they see that your energy has shifted. You're no longer focused on them and your mind is on going in a different direction, bettering yourself, improving yourself. And it's like you just left them behind, you left them back there. And they just feel so small then in comparison to you. It's kind of like you're just driving off and you're just looking in the rear view mirror and they're just getting smaller and smaller. Well, it's kind of like if you're a balloon and the narcissist just untied you from a rock and you just floated off into the sky, and the narcissist is just wants to get you down. They just want to get you back. Because although they want your will to revolve around them, really it's the other way around. Really, Their life revolves around you. Everything they do from the moment they first set eyes on you, their thought process, their feelings, their actions, their behaviors, is all a result of what they've seen from you. Even when they're with other people, in other situations, it's still resulting from those feelings of envy. That's what's propelling them forwards. That's what's fueling them to seek new supply, so that they can then simulate some new connection with someone else based on what they saw from you. They just stole it from you. They take it from you. And then they try to build it with someone else. What they're trying to do is replicate something authentic with someone who doesn't know what they're really about. Someone who doesn't see the real them. That's what they're trying to do. Because it's not going to work on you now that you've figured them out. And also with all of that envy, it builds up over time, all of that anger, resentment, that sense of unfairness, where it's like, how come you get to be you? How come you get to be the person that you are and have the things that you have? And they have to be there. They have to be a fake, fraudulent, manipulative. And even then, people don't like them half as much as they like you. It's how they think. I bet you this is exactly what goes through so many narcissists' minds. It's like, you don't have to do anything. You don't have to put in half as much effort as they do. They have to put in so much effort to construct this false self. They have to study all of these people. They have to steal so much from you. Try and replicate you. You don't have to do even a fraction of what they do. People like you just 100 times more. Just by you being your natural, authentic self. That is true, people do. But this is the thing, because people would have liked the narcissist. People could have loved the narcissist. They could have been proud of them if they didn't abandon their true self a long time ago. Because, if you ask someone who's in a relationship, a healthy relationship, what they like about their partner, typically it's not, if we're talking about a genuine connection, not something that's so superficial and image focused. If you ask them, what do they really like? What do they really appreciate? What really makes them feel drawn to their partner? And it's usually just something silly, something unique, something even weird. It could be even a flaw, an imperfection, but it's something real. And that's really it, because that's really what creates a connection. That's what allows us to connect to people. You do not feel connected with someone over their successes or over an image of perfection. You don't connect to someone through that. It just makes you feel detached because it's not even relatable. The reality is that life is full of struggles, hardships. We do all have flaws and imperfections. That's the reality of it. And that's what allows us to relate to people. We relate to them through failure rather than success. So, they can't even connect to anyone, and no one can connect to them because they can't be vulnerable. They can't they can't express the things that they have been through or the things that they have done to anyone. They can never be themselves. Because, of course, their image is very important to them. They care about what people think about them. And, of course, they know that with most people, they can't be themselves. They can't just talk about the things that they have done. They can't express themselves genuinely. so they can never experience a connection with anyone. And if anything, they just can't ever have even a conversation with anyone. They can't. They can't talk to anyone because it can only be superficial. It can only be about just things on the surface. If it ever goes deep, if ever people start asking questions, it's not going to look good for them. So they can't ever be themselves. They can't ever have a connection. Well, as for you, you can move on and be real and authentic without them. You can have a genuine connection. And people can maybe relate to you about your experiences, of what you had to go through, of what you had to deal with. But what type of person is going to relate to them? And isn't that just it? Isn't that why they target us? Because what types of people are going to relate to them? What types of people are they going to be able to associate with? Other losers, lowlifes, abusers, criminals. Those are the types of people that they're going to get on well with. Well, as for us, what would happen? What would happen if you put us around, I don't know, a bunch of criminals, a bunch of thieves, murderers, rapists? It'd be utter chaos. We wouldn't be able to coexist anywhere near them. There would be fights. Or we would be just running in the opposite direction, trying to get away from them. But as for them, that's where they feel comfortable. Actually, I would go as far as to say that's when they feel like they're real. When they're around other people like themselves. When they're not around people like you or I. People who are real. People who just want to put it all down on the table. Like, let's just talk about it. Let's just be real. Let's talk about things that went wrong, the things that we have done. Like, you say the whole truth, the absolute truth, and nothing but the truth. And I do too. But that's the thing. There can't ever be a level playing field, because while it might be okay for you to say that, it's not going to be okay for them. Because the things that they have done, it's just unacceptable. And that's really a big part of the disorder. That's why they have to be fake. That's why they're so terrified. That's why there's so much control. Because it really just comes down to the shame. The feeling of inadequacy, knowing that they're just horrible, unwanted people. They're just not wanted, and they know they're not wanted by anyone. And they know it. This is why everything's so focused on the surface, and they're such perfectionists. It's like everything's got to be perfect. They focus so heavily on their appearance, on their clothes, on their cars, their homes, everything that people see. Because deep down they know they're not even wanted by anyone. That's why they have to make everything so shiny, so glittery. But everything that glitters is not gold. This is why they have to be so fake. They can't ever be real, because they know that if they were to be real, no one would want them. They wouldn't have any friends. They wouldn't have anyone. And this is why they have to turn you into a fake, because they want to isolate you. They want everyone to be on their side. And typically what they have to do in order to do that is they have to demoralize everyone to be just like them. So then they end up just being around a group of sociopaths. Again, deep down, they know that they're no good. They know they're not wanted. This is why they're so fake. They're so superficial. This is why they can't ever be real. They can't ever be vulnerable. Because at the core, there's no core self-esteem or self-love. There isn't. And this is why they just can't be open. They can't just express themselves naturally. Everything's got to be scripted. Everything's got to be controlled. You can't have a normal conversation with them. You can't ask them questions. You're constantly having to navigate a minefield, never knowing what could set them off because of that core shame, the core feelings of inadequacy, of just deep down feeling like a horrible, worthless person. Because that's at the core of it. That's the core of it, and that's why they manipulate, that's why they gaslight, because it's all them navigating this minefield of feeling like they're just worthless. And well, as for us, what makes us such a great source of supply is that we just keep going. We keep running endlessly on the hamster wheel, doing everything we can for them, because a lot of times it is that self-love and that self-esteem that we have inside that keeps us going. It keeps us trying, keeps us believing that we could be good enough. But that's just it. And that's what you've got to accept, is that true self-love, instead of it just coming from the ego, true self-love, true self-esteem is about letting go. Realizing that you can't help them, you can't fix them. Having true self-love and high self-esteem, it's not about being a codependent or a people pleaser. Love is about letting go. It's about saying, all right, you know, I can't help you, I can't fix you, but I do wish the best for you, and I hope that you figure things out eventually. And in rare cases, it's what happens is that your absence can allow them to grow. This rarely happens because they're surrounded by enablers and flying monkeys, but it is the isolation which builds strong character. It is the isolation that can turn a boy into a man. But typically what they're going to do is whatever will fuel the disorder. Whatever is going to keep that validation going for themselves and making them feel superior. Because they're trying to avoid the core shame. They don't ever want to go into it. They don't ever want to go into that space. And this is why there's so much fear, they're so terrified when they discard you. It's all revolving around, what are you going to do next? Where are you going to go? How are you going to feel? Is it going to trigger their core shame? So they're just trying to manage the feelings of shame. And initially, you triggered their feelings of shame and inadequacy at the very beginning, while you were at a distance, and that's why they had to bring you closer. It's kind of like the mindset of keep your friends close, but keep your enemies closer. They viewed you as opposition because they envied you. You were their rival, their opponent, and they wanted to keep you really close so that they could take from you, they could beat you. So my girlfriend's in because there's music playing as well. I could distract myself from all of the sirens and the horns, even though it's like 200 sirens a day on average. But then the music, because they don't normally play the music, then that distracted me then. But yeah, they wanted to keep you close because they envied you. They felt threatened by you, intimidated. So they acted like, oh, you're their friends. You're a relationship partner now. But really, you're their opponent, you're a rival, you're someone they want to secure and take from. So that's why they want to keep you close initially. And of course, it's that narcissistic supply by proxy. It makes them feel better about themselves to have you near them. When you're at a distance, then they feel inadequate. So that's why they then want to keep you close. And it's only once they've taken from you, then they can let you go. Then they can individuate. Then they can just ghost you, get rid of you. But then once they start to see you climbing back up, once they start to see that things are getting better for you again, then they come back. They want to keep you close. Because then they begin to envy you again. Really what they gain for you is your independence, your autonomy, your freedom, your happiness. All of the things that they want but that they will never have. And you can tell what they want and what they don't have, because that's what they're trying to take from you. That's what they're depriving you of. And it ends up where it's like they deprive you of your health, your finances, your energy, your happiness, your friends, your connections, your material possessions, all of these things. And you imagine, it's kind of like, it's like they just leave you in a pit of misery, scarcity, and you haven't got anything. You're just left in like rags, and they're just like in riches. They've got everything. They've got abundance. They've got the house, the cars, the money, the friends. They've got everything. But then they're still miserable. They're the ones who are still miserable, still angry, still holding a grudge against you, still got a problem with you, still wanting more from you. You're left with nothing but a smile. Because at least what you have got is you. You've still got you. They've got everything, but at the same time, they've got nothing. Because they haven't even got themselves. And in order to experience, to connect, to appreciate anything, it's got to start with you first. You have to connect yourself to it. This is why they can never appreciate you, because they can never connect to you. They can never attach to you. So they can have everything. They can take everything from you, but they're never going to be happy. Because what they really wanted is the feeling. And they made an error, they made a mistake. When they were observing you, when they're spying on you, when they see you moving on, they're thinking, hold on. And even initially, when they first targeted you, they're thinking, so your feelings come from these things. From your hard work, your success, your money. Because everything's superficial from them. They lack empathy. They can't see beneath the surface. So they never figure out, they never realize that actually, no, that's your happiness is coming from within. They never realize that. And that's how they end up being that way, where they're taking everything from you, sabotaging you, destroying you, and then they're still miserable, still coming back to you for more. And then they end up just trying to prevent you from moving on, prevent you from having anything, because it just becomes a reminder to them of how broken they are, that they couldn't attach to you, they couldn't attach to the things that they have, they couldn't find happiness or fulfillment in anything. That's what it becomes a reminder to them of, and that's why they have to deprive you. That's why they have to sabotage you, smear you, discredit you, isolate you. That's why they have to do all of that. It's all to prevent them from realizing that they're broken, that they can't find fulfillment in anything. That's what it reminds them of when they see you moving on, being free, being happy, having the things you want in life, having genuine, authentic connections. It just reminds them that they can't ever have that they can't find the joy in the things that you do, that they can't find the joy or happiness in simple things and even extravagant things as well. They can't find the same fulfillment as you do. And that's what it comes down to. That's how I'd like to conclude this video, is that they envy you. And why they're so terrified after they discard you is because they know they can't get the same fulfillment out of life and from people as you do. Because they haven't got a genuine, authentic self. They can't connect or attach to people. They're broken. And that's why they're so fake, they're so superficial. That's why they're so manipulative, deceptive. That's why they gaslight people. That's why they run these stupid smear campaigns. Because they're fake, they're fraudulent, deceptive people. How are they going to connect to anything or anyone? A person or a materialistic thing? How can they find fulfillment in anything? And they're frauds. They're liars, they're cheaters, they're con artists. How can they ever be happy? And yet they know that you can be happy because they know that you're real. And that's why they targeted you. That's why they like to be around you, because they know that you're real, you're innocent, you've got so much love and authenticity to give, which they want, those characteristics that supply. So this is what it comes down to. This is it. They envy you, they can't stand you, they hate your happiness, they hate your love, your authenticity. They resent you because they can't get the same fulfillment as you do. And this is why they're so miserable. This is why they're so depressed. And that's what they envy most about you. My head is spinning. All of the horns, all of the sirens, it does do my head in after a while. Oh. And also as well, because you don't see that I'm sitting here for hours. I've been sitting here since I woke up this morning. I woke up about 7:30 a.m. The horns and the sirens, I must have heard about 100 sirens already today when I'm sitting down doing my work. So it just does my head in. But despite that, I still keep going for you. Because I know so many of you support me. You appreciate my work. I help so many of you. And that's just it. I mean, narcissists, they're all about themselves. And that's what the problem is. They're self-absorbed and they lack empathy. That's why they can't find fulfillment in anything. Because there's no greater fulfillment than caring about the collective. Just giving and contributing to other people, sharing information, your experiences, and just not expecting anything back in return. Although, of course, you should get something back in return. We should build each other up. Because we don't want to see anyone getting depleted. If they're valuable, we want them to keep going. And, of course, I want to keep myself going because I know so many of you around the world who are watching this, you're in toxic relationships, you're being manipulated, abused, gaslighted, isolated, threatening your job, your reputation, your career, your children. And All of these things are very important to me. Even though I don't talk about it in every video, even though I may not know you personally, I've never met you, still my heart is with you, wherever you are in the world. Because I know and I feel that you are out there, but maybe you're alone, you haven't got support, you haven't got someone there for you. And you're worrying about certain things, you're worrying about your health, you're worrying about your finances, your children, your children's health, your children's future. I know there's so many of you out there in situations like that. And I feel for you. I do, even though I can't see you and I've never met you, I still feel for you, all of you. And that's really what keeps me going more than anything else. That's why, no matter how messed up I feel, no matter if I can't even remember what day, what time it is, what year it is, I can't even remember who I am, even if I feel like my brain's about to explode, before it does, it's like, I just want to know that I gave the most, I gave the best that I could to help people and to ensure a brighter future for people and for their children. And that's what motivates me. That's at the core of me. That's what matters to me more than anything else. And that's why I just hold on to the hope. I hold on to the optimism. But somewhere out there, there's empathic people, empathic communities. There's people who care about each other and will never give up on each other and will always want the best for people. And that we will just keep getting better. And that we won't just only care about ourselves. That's really what I hope. That's what I hold on to. And I think that's something we should all be aware of as empaths. It's that, when you feel down, when you feel depressed, when you feel like you just feel like giving up. I mean, yeah, sometimes it can be about your personal situation. Of course it can. I mean, even though we may not be narcissistic, but it's like, of course, it can revolve around our health, our finances, our children. These things are important. But also, it can sometimes be a lack of hope in humanity. Feeling like there's no good people left. So it's like, what's the point? What's the purpose in keeping going? Why have any hope? Why have any optimism? If everyone's just bad, if everyone's just crazy, then why bother trying? Why not just give up? And that's why it's important. And so that together we just keep going, giving and growing together. Because I think that's really what we need at these dark times in today's world. It's people who do still care about each other. And not just superficially, but at the core, in our hearts. But it's not just like a show for everyone else. But we just generally care. We want to see people doing better. We want to see people happier, healthier, out of toxic relationships. And I think I found that in many of you, because you give me so much encouragement, so much support. And your comments that I read every day, it means so much to me. Thank you for the donation, Mimi Reese. I appreciate it. And the donations as well, the financial support. I mean, it's helped so much for me to continue traveling and making videos for you. But I know, this environment where I am right now, actually, I came to this condo because I was told that this is a quiet area and it's on the 32nd floor. So that's why I invested the money into this for 1 month, which, it comes from the ad revenue and the donations that I receive. So I thought, this would be good if I go into a condo, away from all the noise, I can do good videos. And I didn't know it was going to be like this, with all the horns and the sirens. I can't even think clearly myself. So now I'm looking into, maybe I will just book a flight to another province here. Maybe I can go down by the beach somewhere and I can do more videos like I did in Bali. Because I think there were good responses for those videos. And I'm much more at peace when I'm on a beach, when I'm not around so many people. So yeah, I'd really like that if I can just plan a trip away from here, away from the city. Because, my travels and the places where I stay, it's all provided by the YouTube ad revenue that I receive and the donations from you. Without that, none of this is possible. So it all comes from you, the viewers, from watching the ads and from making the donations. And of course, it's my job to make sure that I invest the money properly into the right places where I stay, the right areas, locations, so that I can make proper videos to give back to the community, keep reinvesting it back in, to support survivors of narcissistic abuse. But yeah, I do feel like I made an error in staying here. And that's why it just doesn't feel good for me lately when I'm making these videos. But I'm hoping that I will find a better location and the content will improve. Because that's what really matters for me, is that it is a good experience for my viewers. And although some of my videos recently haven't had many views, occasionally I do get some videos with a lot of views, especially on TikTok. And actually just, I think it was within the last couple of months, I had one video around 200,000 plays on TikTok. So I'm still wanted, I'm still needed, and I know that I can make a huge comeback on here. I know that I've got so much value to provide. And I know that so many people around the world have benefited from my videos. Millions of views, approaching 200,000 subscribers. I know that I'm needed. I know that I've helped so many people. And there's so much more work to be done. Because, these videos are helping people. I know myself, watching these videos have helped me. These videos by other creators, and even watching back my own videos, it's helped me to keep going and to prevent me from going crazy. I mean, I wonder what would have happened if I never did find out about these videos. I would have lost my mind. I would have gone crazy. I would have thought that there's something wrong with me. And then, of course, it would have I can't remember the word for it now, but it would have reinforced itself. But although also, these videos do help us to take personal responsibility, so that, it's not just about validating our experiences of what we went through, but also recognizing that we're human, we have flaws, we have things that we can work on, so that we can just be the best people that we can be. And that's really what it's about. Thank you for the donation, Hidden Harpazo. I really appreciate all of your support. Thanks for the donation, John Tracy. I appreciate all of your support. I mean, all of the years that I've been doing this, and still to this day, I'm very passionate about my work. Because the reality is, I mean, we're never going to live in a perfect world. It's never going to happen. There's always going to be abusers. There's always going to be criminals. There's always going to be horrible, exploitative people out there. And there's always going to be a demand for this type of content. For people who need the validation to know that they're not going to see. And to understand these types of personalities, because they're always going to exist. So I'm going to stay motivated. I'm going to stay passionate. And I have a lot of hope for the future of this channel. And to bring in new types of content. I have some ideas, some concepts that I will be introducing in the new year 2025. Really looking forward to it. I still remember, I think it was 4 years ago. I think it was, or 5 years ago. I think it was New Year 2020. And I remember the UK in Wales, I was just walking on the beach. And, well, actually, no, I was up on a hill. I wanted to get a good view of the fireworks to do a live YouTube video. And there wasn't much signal up there. Well, I wanted to film the video quickly, like really quickly, because it was about to go to midnight. And I wanted to be there ready for, for any of the victims out there who are isolated or suffering. They haven't got anyone to go with to see the fireworks on New Year's. So I wanted to be there. I wanted to give the victims, the survivors, some company on that night. So then I was racing down the hill. I was speeding. I think I must have gone over the speed limit that night. But it was around midnight, and there weren't many people on the road. But then I drove down to the beach, and if you look back about 4 or 5 years ago, I did a live video on the beach. I think it was for New Year's 2020. And back then, It's amazing how much I've increased my awareness of this disorder in the world since that time. I've gone another level now. But back then, I still remember filming that video. And even though my videos were blowing up, I mean, I was getting like over 100,000 views on a video. Even then, it was just kind of, there wasn't anything out of the ordinary for me. It was a small about the viewers. And that's how I want to keep now going into 2025. The focus is on the viewers, it's on the content, it's about connection. Because that's what brings me fulfillment, is connecting with all of you on a deep level. Bringing you things that are relatable. So yeah, that's it for this one. This is what the narcissist is terrified of after discarding you. Terrified of you finding your happiness, your freedom, your authenticity again. Realizing that you're so much better off without them. When you're no longer under their control. And you're just free again. You're free to be you. Free to express yourself authentically. Rather than being stuck under their control. Being trapped. Being subservient to them. So thank you all for watching. If you found it helpful, give it a thumbs up down below. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Hit the subscribe button, click all notifications, so that you will be notified when I go live again. Donations are greatly appreciated. You're welcome to donate to my PayPal. It's paypal.me/Narc Survivor. I am available for one-on-one coaching, where you can speak to me directly through call. You can book on my website. It's narcsurvivor.co.uk. And I'm also available on Instagram. You can follow me. It is Narc Survivor YouTube. Thank you all for joining me on another Narc Survivor live video. And I will talk